what is a deeply unsettling fact? Due to fresh drinking water being so scarce on the Galapagos Islands, some bird species, such as the vampire finch, have adapted by drinking the blood of other animals. Simon though, with a name like vampire finch, it was bound to happen sooner or later. Crazy how nature creates these coincidences. Isn't it? I mean, what are the odds of an orange evolving to be exactly the color orange? Eventually, most of the content on the internet will have been created by dead people, just like literature. Currently, now I am imagining a class like English literature but for internet culture, and picturing a bored class with some kids sleeping while the teacher is saying some poop like, "Okay class, this meme is 100 years old and it says me and the boys going out to get some beans. What do the beans symbolize and how does it reflect what was going on in society?" LMAO. Nothing in the Humpty Dumpty rhyme states that he has an egg. This is the most horrifying trivia on here. No yoke. During the French Revolution, where the guillotine was introduced, the people to be executed fought to be first, as the blade would dull after multiple uses and would not cut a head clean off at the first attempt. And the last execution by guillotine in France was the same year Star Wars came out. Wow, I need to look that up because that is a crazy thing to think about. There are estimated to be at least 25 active serial killers in the United States alone at any given time. Very few will be detected, much less apprehended. This gives me hope. Yes, officer. This comment right here. The amount of deaths due to medical errors each year. Preventable medical errors. What's an unpreventable medical error? Sneeze into patient's brain. The US has lost several nuclear bombs. We know where they are. We just can't find them. I mean, as long as no one else finds them first, tidy say we re good. Totally. Each year you unknowingly pass your death day. An interesting would you rather question I came across recently. Would you rather know the exact date of your death, but not the year, or know the year of your death, but not the exact date? 100 a year. Think about the freedom that would offer. If I am gonna die within the next few years, okay, I'll quit my job and spend all my time traveling and with my family. If I am gonna die at 95, great. I am going to want to really focus on my physical health and save enough money for a comfortable retirement. It would make so many of life's major decisions so much easier. Parts of your eyes are crunchy. They're the best parts. National parks are not all swings and roundabouts. Over 1,600 people have gone inside Yellowstone National Park and never come out. Yellowstone is known for boiling water and pools of acid. People on this earth put Gorilla Glue in their hair. I don't have any questions about what happened. I never expected you to. But it's still scary. Like, who'll willingly go into a pool of acid? You're not looking up into the night sky but up into the infinite and cold abyss. Also, there's no such thing as up. Really? You're just looking out. I kinda like that. Actually, that the ozone layer is basically a massive bay window giving us a view out into infinity. That you could have a blood clot in your arteries as we speak, just waiting to cause a stroke. And you might be asleep when it happens and never know a thing. Happened to me. Done. Hope you are doing well. Thanks for sharing at 10:49 p.m. No matter how unlikely it is for a bad thing to happen, there is always the chance it could be you. No matter what. Yeah, that's my mindset when doing anything. It causes a lot of arguments between me and my mom though. Between me and my mind for me. Between me and his mom for me. Your mental illness is probably for life, but you may be able to manage it. Especially true for bipolar disorder. Schizophrenia. Bipolar is like a period. Only it's once every 2 months and I shed all my happiness instead of a uterine lining. I may not actually have a uterus, but I like the analogy. For every homeless person in America, there are 34 vacant homes. It's actually 59 now. 2019-2020. 34 was in 2010. It's even worse. The guy who played Hannah Montana's brother and John Cena are the same age. Absolutely baffled me when I found out. Joke's on you. I never watched wrestling or Hannah Montana. I have no frame of reference. If you end up being the victim of a violent crime, you probably know the perpetrators. You probably trust them. Most likely, you love them. People find it weird when the police declare most family members and close friends of murder victims to be suspects. But this is precisely why. You are far more likely to be deliberately killed by someone you know than a stranger. Also, in most countries and demographics, the most likely person to deliberately kill you is you. There is a big chance that the clothes you are wearing right now were made by the hands of extremely underpaid people in terrible working conditions. Joke's on you. I am naked. Can you prove it? Bonk. Go to horny jail. You are just a chemical process trying to reach an equilibrium. An electron looking for a place to rest. There are about 150,000 ants for every one person in the world. Snack time for the ants. There is a very small chance that you are immortal. You just do not know it yet. I am about to find out right now. Morgan Freeman voice. He never returned. He did. The grandfather paradox. If you go back in time and convince your grandma not to marry your grandpa, then your father is never born and therefore you're never born. So who went back in time to convince your grandma not to marry your grandpa? You duck your grandma, creating a different paradox. Isn't that a thing from Futurama? When you get cremated, your teeth fucking pop like popcorn. Yummy. Crunchy. That supervolcano keeps me awake at night. If it helps. The idea of Yellowstone or any other supervolcano being overdue is somewhat hyperbolic. It might on average go off roughly every X years. This is far from consistent. And geologists are fairly confident that if it does start to ramp up to an eruption, we'll have potentially years of warning. For a long time it was believed that babies were too underdeveloped to be able to feel pain, and as such, did not need anesthetic for any kind of surgeries. Up into the 1980s, there are still people who believe this now, literally doing circumcisions with zero anesthetic. This is why doctors who have been practicing for 35 years isn't always a good thing. There is a moment during the cremation process where parts of your body are a perfect medium rare. I prefer my human flesh well done. Thank you very much. UWTF. Rare is best. If I wanted my human flesh still bleeding, I wouldn't need the crematorium. People all over the world are documented of being raped, tortured and killed while we are living like nothing is happening. I think about this a lot actually, especially when I am happy. Randomly. Like I feel guilty because I know someone is dying in a really terrible way right now. Like in my own city. Just do the best you can. Being nice to people can help them more than you know. That we have a pocket of acid in our body. I buy a dose. How much? We all have 2 minutes to live. But the timer resets each time we inhale. Deep breath in. Then out. Several hundred times a day. A curse we all bear. You have probably unknowingly encountered, or walked past at least one murderer in your lifetime. For sure encountered. Work night shift at a convenience store. Guy pulled in to put gas, came in the store, used the ATM and left. 3 minutes later, swarm of cops surrounded the store. He had just murdered his family a couple states over and cops got a hit when he used the ATM machine. That I'm going to have to work for the rest of my life for small wages and always be poor. Same. 99 of all people who ever lived are now long forgotten. Where do you get that figure? Aren't either estimated to be only 14 dead people for each living person? Yeah, it's actually more like 93. More you. Capital S. Soldiers died from suicides than from combat. Really tells you how much war can duck you up. Your bones are wet, but not forever. You, along with everyone you know, will be forgotten. This is actually a really comforting fact for me sometimes. I have pretty bad social anxiety, and reminding myself that nobody cares about me, and even if I really embarrass myself, people probably won't remember an hour later because they have their own lives, and even my duck up Serenity special is really helpful. So knowing that my life, which sometimes feels like nothing more than one continuous embarrassing duck up, will most likely be forgotten is kind of a relief, honestly. Charles Darwin and Abraham Lincoln were both born on February 12, 1809. Shocked me when I found out. It's a guarantee that you're biologically related to every person you've ever fucked. You're literally biologically related to every single living thing on Earth. Fucking who you are very closely related to is incest. But fucking who you are very distantly related to is bestiality. I really didn't expect that. What did you expect? There's so far at least 2 fatalities as a result of robots, both of industrial type. The first was in Flat Rock, Michigan in 1979, when an engineer was killed when he was hit in the back and crushed while retrieving parts at an automobile factory. It was due to a malfunctioning industrial robot he was fixing. The second was in Akushi, Hyogo, Japan, where a maintenance worker was fixing a broken down robot when it came to life by mistake. Both locations happened in factories that are well known for manufacturing vehicles. Oh, there's got to be a ton more by now. Half the factories I inspect use robots in some fashion or another. There are tiny lice that live in your eyelashes, and there isn't a goddamn thing you can do about it. My wife accidentally singed her eyelashes while trying to light the pilot light on a very old gas oven. I do not recommend this method of lice control. 1 to 5% of the US prison population is estimated to be innocent. Combine that with the fact that 1% of the US population is incarcerated, and your chance of being wrongly imprisoned in the 21st century is around 1 in 1,000 in America. Not too far away from now, every human being alive on this planet will be dead. I do not know if it's a fact or not, but I once heard that the people you hear in laugh tracks on TV are all dead now because they're reusing the same ones from decades ago. Not necessarily all, because I think they were recorded in the 50s. We have such a plastic problem that it is in the air you breathe and the food you eat. Source: scary. Microplastics. They're in everything. Runoff of every plastic product you touch. Your clothes are plastic. Your keyboard is plastic. Your food packaging is plastic. They're everywhere. Stuck in everything. For microscopic animals, it's like living in a dust cloud and being expected to breathe. It's pretty bad. Your teeth are exposed bones. Actually, the most recent evidence says they are likely modified scales. I am not sure which is worse, TBH. The Earth will eventually be slowly burned to a crisp by the sun until it is completely engulfed by it, erasing every shred of human existence to date. If we do not leave this planet in time, the entirety of Earth's history and miracle of biology will be forever forgotten, with no evidence other than whatever we send into space, and even they will eventually disappear. History is not immortal. Every game character you have befriended or pet you have will never see you again if you stop playing. Every now and then I still think about the poor neopets I abandoned. They must be starving. You thinking of all the Pokemon that I caught to just sit in a box until I transfer them to the latest gen game. Duck. Toddlers in Iraq are taught to put their hands up when they see anything that looks remotely like a gun. Instantly reminded of the famous photo of that girl who supposedly mistook a camera for a gun. There is someone behind you right now. Nah. I am laying in bed, and the bed touched the wall. That person is still behind you. Maybe in the ground or other side of the planet. Get into the ice and then lay on your back. The pinworm lives in your colon. When you sleep, it pokes itself out of your butthole and lays its eggs in the sensitive skin nearby. This itches. And while you sleep, your body might react by scratching at your butt. Your hand might return up right near your head. You may even scratch your nose or mouth. The eggs you scraped up under your fingernails are now deposited in your mouth, where they hatch and move down the digestive system and feed off nutrients passing through your colon before poking their head out and laying more eggs. That is their life cycle. Sweet dreams. Read all of these comments thinking, wow, I am not even phased. Got to this one. Realize I wore no boxers to bed all year and now super grossed out with myself. Just read I can eat garlic to get rid of them. Gonna be eating garlic tomorrow lol.